Hi, Allison here. I'm featuring a video series called Meditation 101. This is to help beginners and people who have just started meditation to learn more about how to develop an effective practice. Today I'll talk to you about a few basic principles that will help you remain committed and consistent with your practice. The first tip is to think about why. Why do you want to learn meditation? When you can identify authentically what keeps you inspired to practice, what you hope to experience by practicing, this will help you transcend any limitations when your mind might get very busy or the practice seems frustrating because you're new to it or you're not understanding how you can really get into that really sweet spot of feeling very still. Why you want to learn to meditate is this authentic place inside of you that is trying to connect with you to help you create a higher vision, one that has wholeness and one that includes the vision of your spirit. Why you want to practice will be unique to you and to you alone. If your neighbor or one of your best friends has been getting into meditation and saying, oh, you should really try it out, while it might be true, if you're doing it for someone else's reasons, it won't set you up for the best foundation of staying consistent, which is how meditation is really most effective. Consistency is the second key I want to talk about today, which is that ability to show up day after day after day. If you ever had a child, a newborn baby, you know that it requires consistent, devoted attention to care for your newborn. It could be an animal, a new puppy, something that you have to give a lot of attention to give a foundation, and then through time it gets easier and easier, but it's that consistency which allows for the long-term ease of the practice. Another part that's important to think about when you're focusing on developing a meditation practice is what style of meditation do you want to practice? There are a lot of traditional styles of practice and untraditional styles of practice. I'll give you an example of both. So for example, untraditional would be something that isn't necessarily prescribed or associated with any cultural dogma or ritualistic society or ideas. It's really more about you coming up with your own unique formula of how you get into the present moment, feel very connected to your soul, and can really transcend space and time. I can give you an example from my own life. I'm a huge ocean swimmer. I live on the island of Hawaii, Maui, Hawaii, the North Shore. I love to ocean swim. So for me, a daily meditation might include going out to the ocean. I do a prayer before I get into the water, thanking the ocean for being so available and so loving, and allowing me to swim in her beautiful body of salty sea. And then every stroke that I swim is a focus on practice. I'm listening to the sound of my breath, feeling the sensation of the water. I might be focusing on gratitude. It's simply a way that I'm bringing all my awareness into one point in time and using my energy to get present. Now, I also practice more traditional styles of meditation, which I've learned from my own meditation teachers, which include some teachers from India, as well as some teachers who have been trained in the United States from psychic institutes or energy medicine institutes. And those meditations, I incorporate specific visualizations, specific breathing techniques, and again, it's all aimed at the same destination, which is a point of stillness where I authentically can feel my heart and spirit in a way that transcends space and time. The last part of the basics is to think about when you want to practice. So when you practice will be something that matches your schedule. It is recommended that you meditate early in the morning. Now, early can be as early as something like 4 a.m. or something that is before the sunrise. If you really want to experience the universe in a time when the veils are very thin, that is a time that's excellent to do so. Now, if you're someone who's got a busy schedule and you're really needing a lot of rest and that's just not possible for you, then getting up later in the day and doing something as you can fit it into your schedule so that you start the day with some type of meditation. This will allow you to really organize your energy in a way that you actually will save yourself time. One of my teachers, he was wonderful, and someone asked him once in a question and answer during a meditation training. She said, what if I just don't have time to meditate? And he was very humble, and he was very quiet, and he closed his eyes, and he reflected, and he thought. We were all waiting in the room with bated breath, and he said, those people who don't have time to meditate don't have time to meditate because they don't meditate. Think about all of the things that you do in your daily life that you actually have to go back and take time to fix or to change. You have an argument with someone you love, or you mistakenly added something up wrong when you were doing your accounting. All these areas where if we had maybe slowed down, had a little bit more presence, we would have found that we actually saved time. Focusing on meditation as a way to help you get more centered, more grounded, will allow you to actually save time. So when you practice is going to be based upon your own schedule. Another great time is actually during the evening, during the sunset hours, or something before you go to bed, where you can actually, I think of it like taking a shower. If you've gone to the gym, you've worked out, commonly people like to go and take a shower and rinse away all the sweat or the grime from the day. And you can think of a meditation at the end of the day as a way to cleanse your body, release any stress or tension. If there's anything that didn't go the way you had expected that day, you can come to a place of acceptance with it. And at this time, you can actually count things you're grateful for. You can spend a few moments thinking of like, wow, I'm really grateful for that phone call I received today, or maybe someone smiled at you, or maybe you had something huge and fantastic like receiving money that day you hadn't anticipated, or coming up with a new creative idea. This is a great way to anchor in the positive things that are happening in your life, is at the end of the day when you're recounting the day's activities. So for our recap today, Meditation 101, for those of you getting started with meditation, the first part is, why do you want to meditate? Define that for yourself so you're coming from a very authentic place. What type of meditation do you want to be doing? Do you want something traditional? Do you want something untraditional? Do you want to come up with your own styles of meditation? Maybe you do a combination of both. If you're looking for traditional styles of meditation, I recommend looking around at some local yoga studios, meditation centers, finding some spaces that there are teachers that can physically give you guidance on how to develop your practice. As well, you can stay tuned in here. I'll keep adding tips to you, but there really is nothing that replaces being in person with a meditation teacher. And lastly is, when are you going to practice? What time of day are you going to fit your meditation practice into? And the length of it also should be determined on your own personal schedule and where you're at. If you're just starting with meditation, maybe you start with something simple, 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, building up to, say, half an hour a day. And then depending on the style of practice you're doing, it might be appropriate for you to do an even longer meditation. So most important is that you decide to get started, do your research, and make it a habit to meditate. It's so important. Have a wonderful day.